Maya Johnson took a deep breath as she stepped out of the taxi in front of the Grand Whitefield Hotel. The tall building with its shiny glass doors and fancy gold letters stood like a palace against the blue sky. At 35 years old, Maya had worked hard to build her business consulting company, and today's meeting could bring her biggest client yet. She straightened her dark blue suit and checked her watch. She was 15 minutes early for her meeting. Perfect timing. The doorman barely glanced at her as she walked past him into the fancy lobby with its marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Maya walked confidently to the front desk, pulling out her phone to show her reservation email. 3 white staff members stood behind the counter, but none of them looked up when she approached. After waiting for almost a minute, Maya gently cleared her throat. "Excuse me," she said politely. "I have a reservation for the Pine Conference Room at 2:00 p.m. today. My name is Maya Johnson." The young white woman at the desk finally looked up, her eyes quickly scanning Maya from head to toe. Something in her expression changed, a slight tightening around the mouth, a coolness in her eyes. "Do you have confirmation of that booking?" the receptionist asked, her voice flat. "Yes, right here," Maya said, showing her phone screen with the email clearly displaying the Whitefield Hotel logo and booking details. The receptionist glanced at it without really looking. "I don't see any record of this booking in our system." "That's strange," Maya said, keeping her voice calm despite the nervous flutter in her stomach. "I received confirmation last week. Could you please check again? Johnson, Maya Johnson for the Pine Room at 2:00 p.m. The receptionist tapped at her computer with exaggerated slowness. "No, nothing under that name." Just then, a white man in a business suit approached the desk next to Maya. Another staff member immediately smiled and greeted him. "Welcome back to the Whitefield, Mr. Peterson. Your usual room is ready for you." Maya noticed but kept her focus on solving her problem. "I have important clients arriving soon. Is there another conference room available?" "All our conference rooms are booked today," the receptionist said without checking. "The Whitefield's facilities are for serious business clients only." Maya felt a sting at those words. "I am a serious business client. I made this reservation weeks ago for an important meeting." "Perhaps you're confused about the venue," the receptionist suggested with a thin smile that didn't reach her eyes. Maya watched as another white guest was warmly welcomed and checked in just a few feet away. She knew exactly what was happening. It wasn't the first time, but that didn't make it hurt any less. A manager approached, a tall man with gray hair and a forced smile. "Is there a problem here?" "This woman claims to have a conference room booking, but there's nothing in the system," the receptionist explained. The manager barely looked at Maya or her confirmation email. "I'm sorry, but without a booking in our system, there's nothing we can do. The Whitefield has certain standards, and we're fully booked today." Maya understood the unspoken message clearly. Despite her education, her success, her perfectly professional appearance, she was being judged by the color of her skin. She took another deep breath, refusing to show how deeply this cut. "Thank you for your time," she said coolly, her mind already racing to find another venue for her meeting. As Maya walked out of the grand lobby, she pulled out her phone to call her clients. The doorman who had ignored her earlier now held the door with the same indifference. Maya stepped out into the sunshine, her back straight and her head held high. What the staff of the Whitefield Hotel didn't know was that Maya Johnson never forgot an insult, and she never, ever gave up. This rejection would not be the end of her story with the Whitefield. It was only the beginning. Maya sat in her car outside the Whitefield Hotel, her hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. She had managed to move her client meeting to a coffee shop down the street. The meeting had gone well despite the last-minute change, but the sting of rejection from the hotel staff still burned inside her. As she drove back to her office, memories from her past flooded her mind. Maya had grown up in a small apartment with her mother, who worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table. Their neighborhood wasn't fancy, but it was filled with hard-working people who looked out for each other. "You'll have to work twice as hard to get half as far," her mother had told her many times. Young Maya didn't fully understand those words then, but life had taught her their meaning. In high school, Maya had worked evenings at a local restaurant while keeping top grades. When she got accepted to business school, her teachers were surprised, but her mother just nodded with quiet pride. They both knew this was just the beginning. College wasn't easy. Maya took out loans and worked part-time jobs to pay for books and food. In classes filled mostly with wealthy white students, she often felt out of place. Once, a professor had mistaken her for janitorial staff when she arrived early to class. But these moments only made Maya work harder. After graduation, she landed a job at a big consulting firm. Her sharp mind and careful attention to detail quickly set her apart. But the path upward wasn't smooth. She watched as less qualified colleagues got promoted ahead of her. At company events, people often mistook her for service staff rather than a consultant. 5 years into her career, Maya specialized in helping failing hotels and restaurants turn their businesses around. She had a gift for seeing what others missed, the small details that could make or break a guest's experience. The hospitality business is all about making people feel welcome, she often told clients. Every single person who walks through your door should feel valued. 3 years ago, Maya had taken the biggest risk of her life. She left her secure job and started her own consulting firm, Johnson Hospitality Solutions. The first year was tough, with many sleepless nights worrying about bills, but slowly, her reputation grew. Maya's firm had now helped turn around 15 struggling hotels and restaurants. Her latest client had seen their bookings increase by 40% after following her recommendations. Word was spreading about the miracle worker who could save failing hospitality businesses. At 35, Maya had finally built something she was proud of. Her office in the city center had a team of 10 people. Her mother, now retired, finally had a comfortable home. Maya had fought for everything she had achieved. Back at her office after the meeting, Maya's assistant Jennifer looked up with concern. "How did it go? Did you have any trouble with the venue change?" Maya placed her briefcase on her desk and sighed. The meeting went fine. The clients didn't mind the change. "But?" Jennifer asked, knowing her boss well enough to hear the unspoken words. "But I was turned away from the Whitefield. They claimed they had no record of my reservation." Maya's voice was calm, but her eyes showed her hurt and anger. "That's not right. Your confirmation email." "Wouldn't have mattered if it was signed by the president," Maya finished. "They took one look at me and decided I didn't belong there." Maya walked to her office window, looking out at the city skyline. The Whitefield Hotel's distinctive tower was visible in the distance. "You know what's ironic?" she said quietly. "I've helped save hotels much fancier than the Whitefield." Something shifted in Maya's expression, a new determination replacing the hurt. "Jennifer, can you pull any financial information we have on the Whitefield Hotel Group? Annual reports, news articles, anything." Jennifer looked surprised but nodded. "Sure, but why?" Maya kept her eyes fixed on the distant hotel tower. "Just curious about their business model," she said. But the gleam in her eyes suggested she had something much bigger in mind. 3 days after being turned away from the Whitefield Hotel, Maya sat in her office surrounded by papers and open laptop screens. Jennifer had gathered a surprising amount of information about the Whitefield Hotel Group, and what Maya found made her sit up straight. "This can't be right," she muttered, checking the numbers again. According to the reports, the famous Whitefield Hotel was actually losing money. Behind its fancy front doors and snobbish staff, the business was slowly sinking. Maya picked up another report showing the hotel's occupancy rates. They had dropped by 15% in the last year alone. Customer reviews online told an interesting story. Complaints about outdated rooms, poor service, and rude staff were increasing. "No wonder they act so superior," Maya said to herself. "They're trying to hide how badly they're doing." A knock on her door interrupted her thoughts. Jennifer entered with a cup of coffee and more papers. "I found something else you might want to see," Jennifer said, placing a business magazine on Maya's desk. "It's from last month." Maya looked at the magazine. There was a small article about the Whitefield Hotel Group looking for investment partners to help with expansion plans. Maya had been in business long enough to know what that really meant. They needed money, and fast. "They're trying to sell, aren't they?" Maya asked, though she already knew the answer. Jennifer nodded. "Looks like it, but they're keeping it quiet to protect their fancy image." Maya leaned back in her chair, her mind racing with possibilities. She had helped many hotel owners turn their failing businesses around. She knew exactly what was wrong with the Whitefield and how to fix it. But a new idea was taking shape in her mind, one that made her heart beat faster. Jennifer, get me a meeting with James and Sophia, she said, referring to her two closest business partners. And contact Richard Lee at First Capital Bank. Jennifer raised an eyebrow. You're not thinking off. Just setting up the meetings, Maya said with a small smile. Let's see where this goes. The next morning, Maya walked through the lobby of the Whitefield Hotel again. This time, she wasn't there for a meeting. She was there to observe, to gather information. She wore casual clothes and sunglasses, nothing like her business suit from before. No one recognized her as she sat in the lobby, pretending to read a book while watching everything around her. She noticed worn carpet edges that needed replacing. The once white paint on the ceiling had turned slightly yellow. A guest complained about waiting 20 minutes for room service. Maya took mental notes of everything: the outdated check-in system, the poorly designed staff schedules that left the front desk understaffed during busy periods, the lack of energy-efficient lighting that must be costing a fortune. Later, she walked past the hotel's restaurant, noticing it was only half full during lunch hour. She checked their menu online, overpriced and unchanged for 5 years, while food trends had moved on. For the next week, Maya became a detective. She visited the Whitefield at different times, taking notes on her phone. She read every review she could find. She even chatted with a housekeeper in the parking lot, learning about the staff's low morale and high turnover. By Friday, Maya had a thick folder of information and a clear picture of the Whitefield's problems. She also confirmed something important. The hotel was definitely for sale, though not publicly. The owners were quietly looking for buyers through exclusive channels. That evening, Maya sat at her dining table at home, looking at financial projections she had created. The numbers looked good, very good. With the right changes, the hotel could become profitable again within a year. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jennifer. Bank meeting confirmed for Monday. Maya smiled as she looked at the Whitefield Hotel's website on her laptop. The snobbish faces of the staff who had turned her away flashed in her memory. You have no idea what's coming, she whispered to herself. So you want to buy the hotel that turned you away? James asked, leaning forward in his chair. He, Sophia, and Maya sat in the private meeting room of First Capital Bank. Richard Lee, the bank manager, had just stepped out to get some documents. Maya nodded confidently. It's not about revenge. It's a smart business move. The Whitefield is losing money because of poor management, not because the hotel itself is bad. Sophia, Maya's business partner for the past 2 years, studied the financial reports. These numbers support what you're saying. The location is perfect, the building is beautiful, but they're driving customers away with bad service and outdated facilities. Exactly, Maya said. I know exactly how to fix it. New training for staff, updated rooms, better food options, and modern booking systems. Within a year, we could increase profits by at least 30%. Richard Lee returned with a folder. I've reviewed your proposal, Ms. Johnson. The bank is willing to provide 60% of the funding based on your track record with other hospitality businesses. Maya smiled. This was the first big step. With the bank loan and investments from her partners, she would have enough money to make an offer on the Whitefield. There's one more thing, Maya said, her expression turning serious. I don't want the current owners to know I'm the buyer until after the deal is closed. James looked confused. Why not? If they know it's me, a black woman they turned away, they might refuse to sell out of pride or prejudice, Maya explained. We need to create a company that hides my identity until the papers are signed. Sophia nodded slowly. Smart. We can set up a holding company. On paper, it would look like a standard investment group. 2 weeks later, Maya's plan was in motion. They created Horizon Investments LLC, with James as the public face of the company. Maya would remain the majority owner and decision maker, but her name wouldn't appear on any documents the Whitefield owners would see. Maya also began building her future management team in secret. She contacted Darius Williams, a hotel manager she had worked with before, who had a great reputation for training staff. I need someone who can change the culture of a troubled hotel, Maya told him over lunch. Sounds interesting, Darius said, but you're being very mysterious about which hotel. I'll tell you soon, Maya promised, but I need to know if you're interested in taking on a big challenge with me. Darius smiled. After what we accomplished at the Bayview Resort, I'd follow you into any hotel disaster. Maya also reached out to Emma Chen, a top chef who could transform the Whitefield's outdated restaurant, and Carlos Rodriguez, an expert in hotel technology systems. Meanwhile, James made the official approach to the Whitefield Hotel Group. As expected, they were desperate to sell but trying hard not to show it. Horizon Investments is interested in acquiring the property, James told them in their first meeting, but we need to see all the financial records first. The Whitefield's owners, three older white men in expensive suits, looked relieved but cautious. The Whitefield is a prestigious property with a long history, the oldest one said. We're only considering offers that will maintain its traditional standards. James understood what they really meant. They wanted assurance the hotel would stay exclusive and unwelcoming to people like Maya. He kept his face neutral. Horizon Investments understands the importance of maintaining quality, he said carefully. We'll be thorough in our review. That evening, James called Maya. They took the bait. We get full access to their books next week. Maya sat in her home office, looking at pictures of the Whitefield on her computer screen. Perfect, she said. Soon they'll be handing over the keys without realizing who they're really giving them to. The plan was working. Step by step, Maya was moving closer to owning the very hotel that had judged her unworthy to enter. The next 3 months were the busiest of Maya's life. During the day, she ran her consulting business, helping other hotels improve their service. But every evening and weekend, she worked on her secret plan to buy the Whitefield Hotel. James attended meeting after meeting with the hotel owners, carefully hiding that Maya was the real buyer. The Whitefield owners were getting desperate. Their money problems were worse than Maya had first thought. They've lowered their asking price again, James told Maya one evening as they sat in her office. They're practically begging us to buy now. Maya nodded, looking at the new financial report spread across her desk. The more she learned about the hotel, the more problems she found. The building needed repairs. Staff were unhappy and leaving. Customer complaints were piling up. Have you found anything about how they treat their guests? Maya asked. James handed her a folder. I had our lawyer request their complaint records. Look at page 12. Maya turned to the page and her eyes widened. There were dozens of complaints from Black, Hispanic, and Asian guests who had experienced poor treatment. Many mentioned being questioned about their reservations or being given the worst rooms. It wasn't just me, Maya said quietly. No, it's their pattern, James confirmed. And it's hurting their business. Many of these people posted bad reviews online. Maya closed the folder, her determination stronger than ever. Let's move forward with the final offer. 2 weeks later, Maya sat in her lawyer's office, pen in hand. The final sale documents for the Whitefield Hotel were spread before her. After months of work and planning, this was the moment of truth. Once you sign these papers, you'll officially own 67% of the Whitefield Hotel Group, her lawyer explained. Your partners will own the rest. Maya took a deep breath and signed her name. With that signature, she became the owner of the hotel that had turned her away just months before. Congratulations, Ms. Johnson, the lawyer said with a smile. When do you plan to inform the current management of the change in ownership? Maya smiled. I'll visit the hotel tomorrow morning. That night, Maya could hardly sleep. She thought about how far she had come from the small apartment where she grew up. Her mother had always taught her to work hard and never let discrimination stop her. Now she owned one of the most famous hotels in the city. But it wasn't just about proving something. Maya truly believed she could make the Whitefield great again, a place where everyone felt welcome and received excellent service. The next morning, Maya dressed carefully in her best business suit. This was perhaps the most important day of her career. She called Darius, her new hotel manager who would start next week. Today's the day, she told him. Are you ready for the challenges ahead? More than ready, Darius assured her. I've already started working on the new training program for staff. Maya checked her appearance one last time in the mirror. She looked confident and professional, every inch the successful business owner she had become. As her car approached the Whitefield Hotel, she saw the building with new eyes. No longer was it the place that had humiliated her. Now it was her property, her project, her future. The doorman opened her car door without recognizing her. Maya stepped out and looked up at the grand entrance with its gold lettering. Time to introduce myself, she said softly to herself as she walked toward the doors. In her briefcase were the ownership papers and her plans for the hotel's future. The staff at the Whitefield had no idea that their world was about to change forever. The woman they had turned away was coming back as their boss. Maya walked through the revolving doors of the Whitefield Hotel with her head held high. The grand lobby looked the same as before: marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and the long reception desk where she had been turned away 4 months ago. Several staff members were busy at the front desk, including a familiar face, the same receptionist who had claimed Maya's reservation didn't exist. The young woman was typing on her computer, not looking up as Maya approached. "Good morning," Maya said calmly. The receptionist glanced up quickly, her customer service smile appearing automatically. Then she froze, recognition flashing in her eyes. "Good morning. How may I help you?" The receptionist stammered, clearly uncomfortable. "I'd like to speak with Mr. Reynolds," the hotel manager, Maya said. The receptionist hesitated. "Do you have an appointment? Mr. Reynolds is very busy and doesn't usually—" "Tell them it's regarding the ownership change," Maya interrupted, her voice firm but polite. "You'll want to speak with me." The receptionist picked up the phone with shaking fingers and whispered into it. A minute later, a side door opened, and Mr. Reynolds appeared, the same gray-haired manager who had dismissed Maya months ago. "Good morning," he said, looking at Maya with no sign of recognition. "I understand you have information about the ownership change. We've been told only that the sale is final." "Yes," Maya replied with a small smile. "Perhaps we could discuss this in your office." The manager nodded and led Maya to a wood-paneled office behind the reception area. He offered her a seat across from his desk. "I apologize, but I didn't catch your name," he said, sitting down. "Maya Johnson," she replied, watching his face carefully. There was no reaction. He clearly didn't remember her. "And you're with Horizon Investments?" he asked. In a manner of speaking, Maya answered, opening her briefcase. She removed a folder and placed it on his desk. "These are the final ownership papers for the Whitefield Hotel. As you can see, I now own a controlling interest in the hotel." Mr. Reynolds looked confused as he scanned the documents. His eyes widened when he saw her name on the papers. "You're the owner?" he asked, looking up at her with shock. "Yes," Maya said simply. "I believe we've met before." The manager stared at her, then suddenly his face changed as memory hit him. "You were here a few months ago. There was some confusion about a reservation." "There was no confusion," Maya corrected him gently. "I had a confirmed reservation for a conference room, but I was turned away. I believe the receptionist said the Whitefield's facilities were for serious business clients only." Mr. Reynolds' face turned pale. "Ms. Johnson, I don't know what to say." "You don't need to say anything," Maya replied. "What's important now is the future of this hotel." She pulled out another folder and placed it on the desk. "This contains my plans for the Whitefield. We'll be making significant changes to improve service, update facilities, and create a welcoming environment for all guests." The manager looked stunned. "Of course, Ms. Johnson, whatever you think is best." "I'd like to meet with all department heads this afternoon," Maya continued. "And tomorrow, I want to address the entire staff. The Whitefield has a proud history, but it's been losing money and reputation. That ends now." Mr. Reynolds nodded quickly. "I'll arrange everything immediately." As Maya stood to leave, the manager cleared his throat nervously. "Ms. Johnson, about what happened when you were here before, I want to apologize." Maya looked at him thoughtfully. "Mr. Reynolds, I don't want apologies. I want change. And now I'm in a position to make that happen." She walked out of the office, past the receptionist who was now staring at her with wide eyes. As Maya crossed the lobby, she felt a sense of satisfaction, not because of revenge, but because she now had the power to transform the Whitefield into the kind of hotel she had always believed it could be, one where everyone was treated with respect. The next morning, all 87 employees of the Whitefield Hotel gathered in the grand ballroom. Nervous whispers filled the room as staff shared what they had heard about the new owner. Many worried about losing their jobs. At exactly 9:00 a.m., Maya walked onto the small stage at the front of the room. Beside her stood Darius Williams, her new hotel manager, and the rest of her leadership team. The room quickly fell silent. "Good morning," Maya began, her voice clear and confident. I'm Maya Johnson, the new owner of the Whitefield Hotel. Some of you may remember me from a few months ago, when I was turned away at the front desk despite having a reservation. Several staff members looked down at the floor, embarrassed. The receptionist who had turned Maya away was sitting in the back row, her face red. I'm not here to punish anyone for what happened, Maya continued. I'm here because I believe the Whitefield can be better than it has been. This hotel has a beautiful building and a perfect location, but it has forgotten the most important part of the hospitality business, making every guest feel welcome and valued. Maya clicked a button, and a presentation appeared on the screen behind her. It showed pictures of the hotel's problems: worn carpets, outdated rooms, and poor ratings from online reviews. We're going to change all of this, she said. Over the next 6 months, we'll renovate the rooms, update our systems, and most importantly, change how we treat our guests. Darius stepped forward. Starting next week, all staff will participate in new training programs. We'll learn how to provide excellent service to every guest, regardless of what they look like or where they come from. Maya noticed worried looks on some faces. I know change can be scary, she said. But I'm not here to fire people who are willing to grow with us. Everyone will have the chance to be part of the new Whitefield. Over the next few months, the hotel began its transformation. Maya invested money in renovating rooms, fixing problems that had been ignored for years. The old, heavy furniture was replaced with modern, comfortable pieces. The restaurant menu was completely changed by Chef Emma, focusing on fresh, local food at reasonable prices. Most importantly, Maya and Darius worked on changing the hotel's culture. Every staff member received training on providing excellent service and recognizing unconscious bias. Some older employees resisted the changes at first. A few even quit rather than adapt to the new approach. But many staff embraced the new direction. The young receptionist who had turned Maya away, whose name was Sarah, asked to speak with Maya privately one day. I wanted to apologize for how I treated you, Sarah said, clearly nervous. I didn't realize at the time how wrong it was. What made you change your mind? Maya asked gently. The training helped me see things differently, Sarah admitted. And watching how you treat everyone with respect, even after what happened, it made me think about my own behavior. Maya nodded. That's all I can ask for, that we learn and grow. 6 months after Maya took over, the Whitefield Hotel was almost unrecognizable. The lobby shone with new lighting. Guests from all backgrounds were greeted with genuine smiles. Room bookings were up by 30%, and positive reviews poured in online. The Whitefield has the best service in the city now, one review read. Every guest is treated like royalty. Maya smiled as she read the reviews in her office. The hotel that had once turned her away was now becoming exactly what she had envisioned. A place where excellent service and true hospitality were offered to everyone who walked through its doors. 3 years had passed since Maya Johnson became the owner of the Whitefield Hotel. On a sunny morning, she stood in the lobby watching guests check in. Business travelers, families, and couples of all backgrounds were being greeted with warm smiles by the staff. The Whitefield had become one of the top-rated hotels in the city. Its restaurant now had a waiting list for weekend dinners. The conference rooms, including the Pine Room where Maya had once been denied, were booked months in advance. Ms. Johnson, a young woman approached her. It was Tanya, one of the 20 college students in Maya's mentorship program. I finished the report you asked for. Thank you, Tanya, Maya said with a smile. Let's go over it in my office. 6 months earlier, Maya had started the Future Hospitality Leaders program. She selected students from diverse backgrounds who wanted careers in hotel management but faced barriers to entry. They worked at the Whitefield part-time while attending college, learning every aspect of the business. In her office, Maya read Tanya's report while the young woman waited nervously. This is excellent work, Maya said finally. Your ideas for improving our online booking system can save us money and make things easier for guests. Tanya beamed with pride. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My mom still can't believe I'm working with Maya Johnson. Maya laughed. Well, tell your mom I'm just a businesswoman who believes in creating opportunities. Later that day, Maya met with Darius, who had become her right-hand person in running the hotel. The Whitefield Hotel Group wants to meet next week, he told her. They're impressed with our success and want to discuss expanding. The group now included 3 hotels in the city, all following the Whitefield's new approach to service and inclusion. Their success had caught the attention of the entire industry. Schedule the meeting, Maya nodded, and make sure our mentorship students can attend. It's a good learning opportunity. That evening, a business magazine crew arrived to interview Maya. They were featuring her in their Business Leader of the Year issue. The photographer set up in the hotel lobby while Maya answered the reporter's questions. "What made you buy this hotel in particular?" the reporter asked. Maya thought carefully before answering. "I saw its potential. The Whitefield had a great location and beautiful building, but it wasn't welcoming to everyone. I knew that by creating a place where all guests feel valued, we could make it successful." She didn't mention being turned away. That story was known by her staff and close friends, but Maya had never used it for publicity. For her, the past was less important than the future she was building. After the interview, Maya walked through the hotel, greeting staff by name. In the restaurant, Chef Emma was teaching 2 mentorship students how to create the perfect dessert. At the front desk, Sarah, now the head of guest services, was training a new employee. "Remember, we want every guest to feel special from the moment they walk in," Sarah was saying. Maya smiled as she passed by. The hotel that had once made her feel unwelcome had become a place that welcomed everyone. That night, Maya called her mother as she did every evening. "How was your day?" her mother asked. "Good," Maya replied, looking out her office window at the city lights. "The hotel is doing well. The mentorship students are learning fast." "I'm proud of you," her mother said softly. "You didn't just prove those people wrong. You created something better than what was there before." Maya thought about how far she had come from that day when she was turned away from the Whitefield. She had turned that rejection into something powerful, not just a successful business, but a place that gave opportunities to people who might otherwise be overlooked. "That's the real victory," Maya said. "Not owning the hotel, but changing what it stands for."